So now it's like blown up. Like Lokah, everyone is talking about it, not just in Kerala, outside also. How are you taking it? Like, where are you right now?
I'm extremely grateful, and it's very nice to see how people have kind of embraced it in terms of it's become part of pop culture all of a sudden. Like, there are brands coming up with ad campaigns that have to do with the film. Amul came up with a billboard, and I was like, that's it, I'm done. This is the pinnacle. Like, that moment was just so special, and we were all together when that happened. So I was just over the moon when that, over the moon, Chandra, okay, yeah, when that happened. And it's so interesting that people are picking up so many different details and, engaging with it in different ways. Like, it could be as something as funny as like the messages Kalyani gets about, oh, nyan oh negative aane, and I think Tovi's dialogue, Eda hope hai, hasta la vista police said, that is like people are using that, and rose ondum kandittilla, that has become a thing. And so it's nice because that's something that you can only dream of, that people will make something that you created with your team with so much love and make it their own. And then I've also had very interesting messages from like different sections of people. One, women who want to work in cinema, who suddenly feel like it is possible, like, that there is an example of a commercial film with a woman at its front and center that can do these numbers. And that's like, I think made people feel like it's possible. And that's great, because otherwise it is a tough route. And for me, the fact that I'm sitting here is only because I had male collaborators who gave me that space. It's very difficult to break through the glass ceiling all on your own, and you need allies. And that is exactly what I had in this project, starting from Dominic. Everybody who came on board really gave me the space to bring in perspectives that maybe they had not thought of earlier. And for Dulquer also to kind of back a film like this when it's a universe, you could have started with a male hero to start off with a bang, because that will ensure a certain number of, as they say, bums on the seat. But to just stay true to what we had started off with, that was also an example of allyship. Naslin, who I'm sure had voices in his ear telling him, this is not what you should be doing after you've had a major hit. The fact that he just chose to be part of it because he this is what he said. He said that he saw in this film the potential to be something that 10 years later he can look back on with pride. And that's sort of, he didn't look at the short-term perspective. He took a long view of it. And that's like a sign of a very intelligent person, like to not go with immediate short-term gains, but to look at what is the sort of filmography you're building in the long term. How am I taking it? I'm just like overwhelmed with gratitude, trying to wrap my brain around it, feeling like just really stunned most of the time. I think all of us are feeling these emotions. Also a sense of now we need to get back to work. You can't indulge in it too much, because what matters is to go back to the drawing board and to create a script that will excite our collaborators as much as this one has. The other, we have not lost sight of that. I think we're all like feeling that thing of we have to cut out the noise, because there will be lots of expectations of what the second film is going to be. But with this film, the focus was on creating the film Dominic wanted to see. That's what drew all of us into the project. He had a vision, and it excited all of us to join hands with him. So we need to now work on a script that will excite others equally, so that we can create something that stays honest and true to us. So ഇതിന്റെ release-ന്റെ രാവിലെ, I was very nervous in a way that I've never been for any of my releases in which I've acted in. I was really on edge. And I sent a message to Dulquer saying exactly this. I've never been this nervous for a film in which I've acted in. I just hope we get to go to bed happy tonight. That's all I wish for. And he sent me this really lovely paragraph, which was so reassuring and so heartwarming coming from a producer. He said, for once, he's not nervous because he knows that everybody worked with honesty, and that's all we can do really. And he had immense trust in all the HODs in each division. So he did not feel at all the need to get involved in any way creatively. And at the end of the day, an honest, sincere effort has been put into making this film. Now everything is out of our hands. Let's just see what the audience thinks. And that was what calmed me down before we went to the theatre that day. So yeah, I think yeah, just a mix of emotions.
How familiar are you with these myths and legends before starting this? Adho research ഒക്കെ ചെയ്തിട്ടാണോ?
Familiar, I know, because as a child I was a very voracious reader. So Aidihimala, Greek Puranangal, ഇതൊക്കെയായിരുന്നു ഞാൻ കൊച്ചിലെ വായിക്കുന്നത്. Because my brother was born much later, so I had a long time when I was by myself, and books were my source of entertainment. So all of this, it was there in me. And also what I've studied, it really looks at narratives of social and political power and reinterpretations of myths. Appo idellam ഞാൻ പ്ലാൻ ചെയ്യാതെ തന്നെ എന്റെ മനസ്സിലുണ്ട്. ഇറ്റ്സ് ലൈക്ക് ഇറ്റ് ബിക്കംസ് യുവർ വേൾഡ് വ്യൂ, റൈറ്റ്, ഓർ യുവർ ബിലീഫ് സിസ്റ്റം ഇൻ ടേംസ് ഓഫ് ഹൗ യു സീ ദ വേൾഡ്. ആൻഡ് ദിസ് project became this platform for me to really pour out all the, and I mean, Dominic would have still made a very entertaining film without me. But the fact that he saw potential to add in layers that will make the film more than an entertainer. So I'm so grateful that he gave me that space. I had fun going to town with all of this. In Chippeda idilanengilum, there is his mother doesn't have a single line in the film, and that is intentional. It's because she's a silent victim of patriarchy. He's grown up with a toxic household with a misogynist. You don't really see a lot of that, but it's there in key scenes, dialogue-ilum, and he reveres his father. The code that his father gives, that fear is the root of respect, and respect turns into devotion, is what makes him who he is. On the other hand, Neeli, Kutti Chandra, her mother gives her a different code of honor. So that is how both of them have clean, healthy bodies, but one person takes this route and the other person takes that. And that also ties in very well with the Yakshi myth and the idea of the crossroad, because a crossroad is where you take decisions, which way to go, in terms of like choices and potential. So I think it was just a very rich idea that Dominic presented as a one line, which had scope for expansion in many, many different ways. And yeah, just
ഫിലിമിനെതിരെ വന്ന ക്രിറ്റിസിസംസ് ശ്രദ്ധിച്ചിരുന്നോ? ഞാൻ കേട്ട രണ്ടെണ്ണം. ഒന്ന്, ഇതൊരു വോക്ക് ഫെമിനിസ്റ്റ് ഫിലിം ആണെന്നൊരു ഒരു ഇതുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ദെൻ ഇറ്റ്സ് ആൻ ആന്റി ഹിന്ദു ഫിലിം എന്നും ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
I think these readings are to be expected. I think everyone's worldviews comes across, in the things that we create. And if there are people responding to it in that way, I'm sure that makes sense from the point of view that they have, from where they are standing. So it's okay. Like it creates debate. It creates, a conversation between people, and that's fine.
Lokah എന്നുള്ള പേരിന് തന്നെ എന്തെങ്കിലും സിഗ്നിഫിക്കൻസ് ഉണ്ടോ?
Okay, Lokah എന്നുള്ള പേര് should give credit to Vinayak Shashikumar, the lyricist. So he worked on this song which released recently called Shogamugam. That JK ആണ് compose ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. So our friend who was part of the creative team, Jitin Puntanjeri, he also worked. He is the one who did the whistling also ആ പാട്ടിലുള്ള. അപ്പോൾ ഇവര് കൊളാബറേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് വർക്ക് ചെയ്തിട്ടാണ് ആ പാട്ട് ഇതായത്. അപ്പൊ പേര് കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. ഞങ്ങൾ കുറേ ആലോചിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു, കുറെ ഓപ്ഷൻസ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, ബട്ട് nobody was like completely happy with any of the options. അപ്പോൾ വിനായക് ശശികുമാർ ആണ് ലോക എന്നുള്ള പേര് സജസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തത്. ആൻഡ് സഡൻലി ഇറ്റ് ജസ്റ്റ് ക്ലിക്ഡ് ഇൻ ടു പ്ലേസ് ബിക്കോസ് വി ആർ ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസിങ് എ വേൾഡ്, ആൻഡ് ഇറ്റ് ജസ്റ്റ് കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് മാജിക്കലി ഫിറ്റ് ഇൻ. സോ ഓൾ ക്രെഡിറ്റ്സ് ടു ഹിം.